What's up, guys? Silver here with another Halo Master Chief Collection Achievement Guide. This time we are doing part 3 of our Halo CE LASO run-through. So start this up. This is Truth and Reconciliation, the toughest mission probably on CE LASO. So get ready for some pain here. We're going to get dropped off by the Pelican. We have a sniper to start out with a bunch of ammo. So we want to conserve as much of that ammo as possible. Even though we have a bunch, don't feel like you could waste a bunch of ammo. We want to conserve as much as possible. So go up behind this rock. Make sure you activate your night vision when you switch to your sniper when you're scoped in. It actually turns to that nice light green and it's easier to see the enemies. So to do that, you want to hit the flashlight button once you are zoomed in with that sniper. So we're going to take these guys out slowly and surely. You don't have to do anything drastic here. Just kind of wait for the enemies to present themselves to you and just kind of wait for a good shot. If you're not great at shooting, just wait until they're kind of standing still. Kind of know your limits there so you don't, hit shots you normally can't hit. It could get frustrating because they like to move around a lot sometimes, but just wait for them to stand still and then take your shot then. But in this first section, there are going to be a bunch of grunts along with 2 jackals and 2 elites. So like we've been doing in previous levels, we want to try to kill the grunts when they're next to any of the other enemies. So those grunts, when they blow up, they actually take out some of the enemies or at least damage them, so it makes them easier to deal with. So we're going to pretty much do that. You want to stay up on this ledge. It offers a good vantage point and good cover. You could always just back up and kind of reset if they ever see you, and then you can just poke your head out again. And oftentimes there's a grunt on that turret right there, and once all the enemies initially are killed, there'll be more that come from around the bend that I was just zoomed in on. But we want to take out all the enemies first, and you'll know when all the enemies are dead from the first section because the music will kick in. So that's kind of your cue to kind of look at that bend so you can kind of take out those enemies as they come around the corner, hopefully. So once we take this guy out, I don't think I missed a shot until this last grunt. He's making me waste more ammo than I would like to. But I guess we could afford it because we were pretty good there for the initial part of that mission. So now that he's the last enemy to go down, you can see there's an elite that's going to round the bend, and hopefully you can take him out really quickly like that. And there's 2 grunts that are going to follow him. So if the elite does not go down that quickly, look at that shade turret, my god. Hopefully that does not splatter you. It probably won't even get sent up that high. That was kind of unusual. But I killed the 2 grunts right after that elite, and once that happens, you kind of want to be close to the bend here so you could wrap around it and throw a frag grenade. There's going to be 4 grunts coming down the pass there, so you want to throw a frag grenade and hopefully take them all out. Hopefully a chain reaction will occur where they kind of blow up and then continue to blow up the grunts behind them and everything. And then you want to immediately go around the bend yourself. And there's going to be 2 jackals coming down, but we want to kind of ignore them if we can, and just go to the left of this rock and start shooting at the enemies beyond them. You only want to do this if there's still Marines on your side that are alive, because what's going to happen is the Marines are going to fight these jackals, and basically I'm going to allow the jackals to kill these Marines. I don't want the Marines to make it any further than this point, and there's a variety of different reasons for that, so we'll talk about that later. But basically just kind of snipe on the left side of this rock, all the enemies up there, so you could kind of be doing something while you're waiting for the jackals to kill the Marines here. So we're going to take these guys out. There's going to be 1 blue elite. I just took him out right there. There's going to be a bunch of grunts. There's going to be a jackal, and it looks like all these Marines are dead. So at that point, you kind of want to have your ear out for the battle happening behind you, because once the Marines all die, obviously the jackals will turn their attention to you, so you want to be ready for them. And they're actually pretty easy to take out. You can see I just meleeed that one to death pretty easily. I don't know where the second one went. I thought he died because he usually doesn't run away. He usually engages you. But he actually did run away this time, so we are going to kill him. Here he is. We'll just melee him. When you're close into these jackals, it's easy to take them out because you can just smack them and it kind of stuns them, and you get your shield back because of the black eye skull instantly. So very nice. Once you kill all the enemies that you can see, you don't want to move up beyond this point, really. You want to just kind of stand here and take out all the enemies you can. Once you can't see any more enemies, you can see I'm going to shoot my assault rifle a little bit to get their attention, because some enemies may be hiding, and that will draw them out. They'll be like, what's that sound? An assault rifle going off? Let me, go over there and see what that's about. So they'll actually kind of pop out of their hiding spots, and you can proceed to shoot them in the face. So this jackal is giving me a little more trouble than he usually does. Excuse me while I deal with this guy. Who knows how long it will take at this rate. He's blocking all my shots with his shield. I ended up actually just shooting this guy. He was weak enough from all the explosions from the grunts where I was able to just take him out with 1 more body shot. So I'm going to shoot my assault rifle 1 more time. Nobody else is coming out to play, so we're going to move up now, and we're going to wrap around to the right. You want to have your sniper out so we can immediately shoot the elite that's hiding out in the corner on the right here. So we had our sniper out and ready. We shot him twice, which gets his shield to pop. but unfortunately we didn't land the headshot with that second shot. If you did, obviously he would drop dead and you wouldn't need to melee him. If you only land one shot, One more melee will pop his shield, and you can just kind of smack each other until he dies. And then you want to jump up. Usually there's a grunt in that turret, so you could easily take that guy out because he's stationary. Just jump up a few times and shoot him while you're in the air. And then once you do kill him, you want to back away because the cliffside actually doesn't offer much protection in the way of explosions. But you can see I jumped onto these branches now. I hopped up onto the rock and onto the first branch and now the second branch. And you can see I was humping the branch, crouching up and down. And it wasn't just for fun. It actually gives you an easier view through all these leaves and everything. It's easier to see the enemies and see through the leaves if you're actually moving your camera. So crouching up and down helps with that. So I killed those two grunts who are always hanging out over there. And let's talk about the ammo situation in Halo. Each weapon in the game has a unique looking cartridge that holds ammo that you could pick up on the ground. So this one says 16 count. It's a little square that's kind of standing up, and it says 14.5 whatever on the side of it. Those are sniper bullets, and it holds 16 per cartridge on the ground. So there's another 16 right there. I don't want to pick that up because if I do, it will disappear and only give me 6 because the max I could carry in reserve is 24, and right now I have 18. So for the most part, you only want to pick up additional sniper ammo if you have 8 in reserve or less. So then you maximize the amount of rounds you get and none go to waste. But now that we have full ammo, we're going to go up this incline, and you can see an elite will come out from around the bend there. You want to be ready with your sniper rifle so you can take him out, hopefully. But if you end up not killing him with a sniper like I did just then, you could throw a frag grenade to the right, and he basically has to walk right into it to get to you. So he'll do that, and hopefully that will either finish him off or send him over the cliff, and then you won't have to deal with him at all. And then 3 grunts will follow, so take those guys out. Hopefully you only have to kill 1, and then that one will in turn blow up and kill the other 2. And once we take out those grunts, we're going to jump back down here and get full frags. There's a bunch on the ground here, so grab those. And we're going to grab the sniper rifle ammo. You can see I only grabbed 14 rounds there because I had 10 in reserve. And just to illustrate the point that once you touch it and grab some ammo from it, it totally disappears entirely. So if you're playing and have 22 rounds in reserve and you accidentally touch it, it will give you 2 rounds, which is effectively 1 bullet with recession on. And that's really not worth wasting that much ammo just to get 1 more shot. So really be careful to avoid touching those accidentally. But now we're moving on to the next section, and it's okay to not have a shield at this point, so you could save that health pack behind you if you have sufficient health and just not enough shield, because we're going to get our shield back right now. We're going to move in this path. Right when you come to this section, just immediately move over here. There's going to be 2 jackals on patrol here, and sometimes they're in different spots, sometimes they're in others. But you can see I easily took those guys out that time. A lot of the time they'll see you, but you could easily just smack them and close the gap because they get stunned by the sight of you at first. So they kind of don't really shoot at you right away. So you could close the gap and start smacking them and killing them. But in this section, we only want to kill 4 enemies or else this next trick won't work. So we want to kill those 2 jackals via melee, and then we want to kill that elite towards the right that we just killed, and we want to kill the grunt who's over towards that turret. They're not always in the same exact spot, but they're generally in those areas. So we killed all 4 of those guys, and then we picked up this camo, and we're not going to make a beeline over here immediately. You can see I kind of paused there for a little bit to make sure the jackals didn't shoot at me until I went totally invisible. But after hesitating, we're going to go in this direction, and we're going to walk through this kind of channel over here. And there's going to be some enemies, and they usually run past you, so just avoid them. But you can see here they're stuck in this little canyon here, and we want to make sure that they're all dead. We don't want any of the enemies from the previous section to move into this next section or be in this hallway. So I'm going to kill these guys, and then I'm going to throw some grenades, a couple of them in there to make sure that they're all dead, because this trick won't work if there's people kind of in that little channel, that little hallway that I just went through. So kill anybody who's in there and throw a couple grenades just for good measure to keep them in the previous section if they're trying to walk through, and then we'll just be able to kill these guys. So melee the elite for sure. If you have enough time, if there were no enemies in that hallway, you'd be able to take out those jackals as well via melee from behind the back. I just wanted to make sure I assassinated that elite before my camo ran out. And then we're just going to throw a couple grenades strategically into the group of grunts. There's a ton of grunts kind of surrounding this whole section. So we're just going to fight our way through those guys. A lot of them get startled at first, so you have a little bit of time to take them out. But once we take out most of the enemies in this area, we're going to move over here and grab some ammo. There's a couple dead Marines on the ground with a ton of ammo and nades and a health pack. I'm not going to use the health pack yet, but I'm going to make sure I have pretty much full ammo and nades if I can. You can see we're lacking 1 grenade, but that's totally fine. Just make sure you're mostly full, and then we're going to move over here back the way we came. And you can see that some of the enemies actually came down the lift already, so we're going to throw a grenade at them just to kind of stun them. We really just want to move back here. I'll show you how we could take out all of these waves of enemies very easily by going back the way we came. This is why we wanted to clear out this section, because we can move back here now, and you can see since nobody was in this hallway, everyone in the previous section dies for some reason. I don't know why. But you can see all the explosions were occurring from all the grunts falling over and just blowing up for no reason. So everyone in this previous section is now dead, so we could kind of use this as a little base where we could kind of hide behind this rock up here and wait for the enemies coming down the lift to kind of push our position, and they never come into this hallway, so you could kind of take refuge in this little area, and you'll be able to just wait for the grunts to move up, and then we could just assault rifle these grunts. You do have nades, you do have sniper rifle ammo, but I like to save those for emergencies. We're going to wait for the grunts to move up here, and then we're going to just pepper them with the assault rifle until they die. You could always move up and kill these jackals with some melees to get your shield back if it ever goes down. Looks like those were the only 2 remaining guys. Or, nope. Here's a guy in a turret. There was an elite in that turret there. One thing to note is that when there's 2 enemies, or when there's less than 2 enemies, that's when more reinforcements will come down the lift. So basically 1. If there's 1 or 0 enemies remaining, more enemies will come down the lift. So since there's an elite sitting in that turret far back beyond the lifts, if there's 1 enemy remaining over here by us, there will be no more enemies that come by us or come down the lift because there's 2 enemies remaining. So we're just going to hang out behind this rock, wait for the enemies to get close to us. One thing you want to note is this rock sucks for cover. From fire, from gunfire, it's fine. It totally works. But for explosions, so if there's a grunt right on the opposite side of this rock and I kill it and I kind of duck behind this rock thinking that it's going to save me, it's not going to. So do not use this rock for cover from explosions. That is a bad idea. So we're going to just basically poke our heads out now. There's another wave of enemies coming down the lift, and I'm just going to get their attention. Wait a minute, hold on. They didn't come down the lift yet. Somebody probably, if that ever happens to you where nobody is like in sight, they're probably on the shade turrets somewhere. They like to hop onto those sometimes. So we know one is on the back left turret, and we're going to look for the other one. Check all the turrets. There he is. We know your game. But we'll just take out one of those guys. It doesn't matter which. I kind of like when they're in the turret because they're easier to shoot and kill, and you at least know where they are because they never get out of the turret for any reason, really. They just kind of sit in there once they're in there. So once they drop down the lift again, there's another wave of reinforcements. All I do is just kind of poke my head out for a second and shoot at them a little bit with the assault rifle. That gets their attention, and then they run over here, and we kill the grunts again, and they blow up and take out all the enemies, or most of them, and then we deal with the remainders as we see fit. So that's really the kind of process we're going to go through here. But while we're going through this cyclical, repetitive process, I wanted to talk a little bit more about how we set this up, because there's a lot of weird quirks and nuances for this trick. So we allowed the Marines to die in the beginning, which is necessary because we don't want them moving forward with us past where they were and screwing things up. So that's why we allowed them to die. If Marines follow you to this point, this won't work, I'm pretty sure. And a bonus for them dying is you could actually go back to their bodies and grab the assault rifle ammo that they dropped, which there is plenty of assault rifle ammo, a lot to be had there, so that's a bonus. Sometimes it despawns, a lot of the time it stays there though, so that's a nice little bonus. Then we move forward to the section right behind us, and I mentioned that you could only kill 4 enemies, and it has to be those 4 specific enemies or this despawn behind us won't work. For whatever reason, I don't know why, I can't explain it, but I could just replicate it. You kill those 2 jackals via melee on the side of the cliff, and as you're wrapping up around the left side, and then you kind of move forward, and there's going to be that elite towards the camo in that area, and you want to kill him with a sniper. You could throw a couple grenades at him if you need to, if he's hiding behind something as well. And then there's the grunt on the left side by that turret. You want to kill him. So that's 4 enemies, and those 4 enemies specifically are the ones you want to kill, and don't kill anyone else in that section. So after you do that, grab the camo and move up here, and this hallway is kind of a weird middle ground between load zones. There's a load zone in front of us that we're dealing with, and one behind us. So if there's any enemies, and the hallway itself is kind of in both load zones, so you want to make sure that there's no enemies kind of in that middle ground, or else the despawn behind us won't work. So that's why I cleared out this whole hallway of enemies before moving fully into this section with the lift, because if there are any enemies in here, when you move back here, you won't be able to get that despawn behind you. For some reason, living enemies in this hallway that I'm in will make it so that the enemies in the previous section don't die and fall over and despawn. I don't know why, it doesn't make any sense, but I'm sure it makes some sense in the code somewhere, but who knows. But you don't want to just spend all your time in this hallway just killing enemies, because more enemies will continue to walk into it. So that's why I killed the enemies that were here, and then I kind of moved towards the lift and threw a couple frag grenades. That way those frag grenades would kill any enemies that tried to come into the hallway, so that's why that happened. Then we cleared everyone out around the lift. There was that 1 elite, there were the 2 jackals on patrol, there was a bunch of sleeping grunts. We took all those guys out. Oh my god, I'm about to die from that explosion, but we're going to get our shield back later, don't worry about it. But yeah, once the enemies started coming down the lift, at that point, that's when you want to come back to this area here. You don't want to come back earlier than that, or else the despawn won't work. So lots of little things you need to do for the despawn to work that I just outlined. So make sure you're hitting all those points. And then the final pieces don't come back here until the enemies start coming down the lift. And then you'll find that all the enemies in the previous section have despawned, and you'll know that happens because you'll see all the plasma grenade explosions, which are, of course, the grunts falling over, dead for whatever reason, and, blown up. So we are now going to get our shield back by smacking that elite, and you can see sometimes they move up pretty close to that rock, so you can easily kind of wrap up around and smack them without really putting yourself at too much risk. Obviously, the elites can smack back, so that's not great. So it's preferable if you actually go up and smack a jackal, because those guys obviously do not smack back. So we're going to move forward here, and let's see what's going on over here. We're going to shoot up. We got a guy right here. That's why no more enemies are coming at us. There's still one left, and that one guy in the turret. Remember that guy. Don't forget, because you don't want to waltz up to the lift over there thinking you're done and get annihilated by a shade turret. So we got another group of enemies coming down the lift here. We're approaching the end. You can see I'm low on assault rifle ammo, and we still have a lot of sniper and frags left. So don't worry, we have a lot of assault rifle ammo behind us because, like I mentioned earlier, those Marines dropped a bunch of ammo, and they may have despawned at this point. Most of the time they stay there, though. But even if they do despawn, there's a bunch more assault rifle cartridges or packets or whatever. The Nutrigrain bars that I described in the Pillar of Autumn walkthrough, those are present over there because I was using the Marine ammo previously before it despawned or had a chance to despawn. I was using those instead of the actual packets of ammo on the ground. So I'm going to go back now. I'm just going to speed this part up because I'm just running back to where I was, where that ammo cache was. And we're going to grab assault rifle ammo. We're going to grab it off the Marines if we can so we can preserve the packages or the packets of ammo, whatever it is, the Nutrigrain bars. So we can see there's a bunch of ammo still here by the dead Marines. So that's why I allow them to die and stay there. And there's more health and frag grenades if we need it by the store of ammo, the ammo cache right there. And we're just speeding back now. And I believe that was the last wave of enemies. We're going to find out, though. There could still be some enemies left. Here they are. And they're still waiting for us. Thanks for not leaving, guys. Very considerate of you. So we're just going to kill these last remaining guys. There's going to be the elite obviously still in the turret, so don't get excited. And, like I mentioned earlier, don't forget about him. And you generally want to check the turrets as well because you never know when one's going to hop in there. So we're just going to take these guys out. And we got a bunch of ammo at this point. And remember that there's still a bunch of ammo over behind the lift. So we are in really good shape. You want to really make sure that you go up the lift eventually when we do get there with full ammo and nades and health and everything, because that is a beast of a fight. And unfortunately, I'll tell you right now, I'm surprised it took me this long to tell you, but there's not really much of an improvement over the previous LASO video I did 5 years ago in regards to strategy. There is a way to skip out of that room entirely and skip that battle, but it's very difficult to do on Xbox. And even on PC, it is one of the harder tricks to pull off. So I decided to just go this route again. So we're going to fight these hunters. You kind of want to stay back because they go down the lift and they don't immediately know where you are. So hopefully you could just shoot them in the back. So we're going to kind of stay away from them, keep our distance, and we'll take out this this turret guy, I guess, first, and then we'll turn our attention to the hunters over there. And they have no idea what's about to happen to them, apparently. So we got one, and we are going to shoot the other one, if we could find him. Where's he at? We'll just wrap up around here. Hopefully he still has his back to us, or to the side. That's fine, too. And you just want to shoot them, basically, where they have no armor. Their armor is blue, and their gooey inner bits are orange. So aim for the orange. There's a big orange section on their backside, so if you wrap up around behind them or from the side, it's really easy to take them out with one pistol bullet or one sniper bullet right there. And then obviously fill up on ammo. There's a ton of frags, there's sniper rifle ammo, there's assault rifle ammo, and a health pack, so you should have full health, shields, frags, and ammo going up the lift here. So we are all set to go into the most difficult section of Halo CE LASO. So get ready. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit here. We're at the top of the lift now, and once you spawn in, you're going to be facing this direction, and you want to turn to the back left, and that is the door we want to go through ultimately. So if you get turned around and you move around and you don't know where you were looking, just find the Wraith, and then towards the right of the Wraith, that is where you want to go. That's the doorway we want to go through. This is the second best door that could open up, actually, so that's good. We just want one door on this side at least to open up, because we could always wrap up around and get to that door that we need to get to, because this one is actually connected to the other one via hallways in the back here. So now that we're at this doorway we need to be at, we want to rub up against it. So just kind of rub up against this area, rub up against the door frame, and this is to get all the enemies to spawn in. And you want to be aware of that doorway I just zoomed in on, because some enemies like to spawn in there while you're kind of rubbing up against that door. So be careful of that. And then we want to go over here and stand in this little corner here. There's a corner right there, but that's a little more risky. So you want to be right here, the corner right here that I'm walking into right now, and just kind of wait here for a couple minutes. And then music will kick in, and we'll be able to have all the enemies spawn into the room that are going to spawn in. And so you could see, if you're looking at the time, it just elapsed like 2 minutes while we were standing there. So we're going to move over here now. And when we open this door, there should be a ton of enemies on our right side. So there's the doorway right here and kind of dividing the hallways. And I'm going to throw a couple frag grenades to blow all the enemies up, and that will start a huge chain reaction with a bunch of grunts exploding and in turn killing a bunch of other enemies. And since that doorway is closed down there to the lift room, I'm going to hide over here so I'm far enough away from all the explosions so I don't take any damage from those occurring, because you could actually take damage through these doors even though I'm pretty far away from them. We could see that doorway to the lift room just opened up. If that was consistently open, I would just hide right here after I threw my frag grenades through that doorway to my right, because obviously enemies would be able to see me move across the hallway and they might come chase me. So I'm going to throw nades through that doorway at those enemies, and there's no enemies. Sometimes this happens. Sometimes there's like a dozen enemies down there, but sometimes it's pretty anticlimactic, and that occurs, and no enemies actually end up going over there. So we're going to just kind of hang out here a little bit more, and you don't want to go down here because that will get enemies to spawn potentially up behind you. So by being down here, I'm going to show this as an example, you could actually get enemies to spawn right there, which is not good. That's not what we want. So that's why we kind of went to that specific spot. And I'm just going to kill that guy, and I can't believe that guy took long enough to fall to the ground where I could back up far enough where he did not actually damage me right there. So that's why we want to be in that corner, because if you're a little too far up, enemies will spawn where I am right now and kind of come up behind you. So again, we opened that hallway door and there was no enemies down here. And there's usually, not usually, but a lot of the time there will be a bunch of enemies where I am right now, and you could just kind of throw a grenade and kill a bunch of them with a huge chain reaction. And what I'm doing now is, since nobody's there, I just kind of am picking out enemies, mainly the grunts, because those guys explode. And I'm going to just headshot the grunts and hopefully take out all the enemies. You can see the explosion, the chain reaction from my first shot is still occurring. So that's a huge chain reaction. I noticed that that elite in particular had no shield from the explosions occurring, so I decided to headshot him. And I'm just going to keep headshotting these grunts in the hangar, or not the hangar, the lift room, because they will explode and hopefully kill all the other enemies. It's a little random. The enemies that spawn are random, so you don't even know how many gold sword elites you're going to get. You don't know how many grunts you're going to get, or jackals. You don't even know which door they're going to come through, so that's why there were none here where I am right now, where I like to prepare for them to be, because they just happen to not spawn there this time. They happen to spawn in the other hallways and just walk into the main lift room here. Some strategies for dealing with these elites. You want to make sure that you're kind of moving between each door. There's two doors I could view the lift room from. You want to make sure you're going to one, kind of seeing what's going on over there, maybe shoot a shot or two, and then kind of back up and go to the other one. If there's a gold elite chasing you, and you are quick enough, you'll be able to actually get him to stop chasing you just by going to the other doorway. And here's a good example of that. This guy's chasing me, so I'm just going to run backwards and run to the other side of the hallway. And you can see that guy just disengaged because I was far enough away and on the other side over here. So he just backed up down into the lift room again. They never hang out in the hallways here, so they're either chasing you in the hallways or they're not going to be here. They're not just going to be standing here. You're going to see when we round the corner here. See, he's not here anymore. He's back in the lift room. But a good way to take these elites out with brute force, if you have enough ammo, is to shoot them a couple times with a sniper and then throw a frag grenade far enough away from you so you don't get damaged, but they do, because the blast radius on those things is pretty big with the boom skull on, and we will just be able to take them out that way. That guy was already weak, so he won't go down that easily. We'll probably have to shoot him a little more with the assault rifle and maybe another round of sniper rifle ammo. You could actually take these elites out with 3 sniper bullets, but the problem obviously with Recession on is the fact that you can only shoot 2 before needing to reload. And then while you're doing that, the guy is cutting you up with his sword. So we're getting to the end of this battle here, but we're also getting low on ammo. We have plenty of assault rifle ammo. Unfortunately, that's not that effective against these, or not invisible elites, these gold, very visible sword-wielding elites. So we're going to just use some ingenuity here, where we're going to look out for some plasma grenades on the ground, and sometimes those could be in the hallway as you kill elites, but they could also be out here, and you can see on the ground there's some non-exploded plasma grenades on the ground, so we're going to use that to our advantage, get the attention of the elite, and we'll get him to run at us, throw a frag grenade on the ground, and that will explode and cause a huge chain reaction, and be able to blow up and kill that last elite. So that is a strategy you could use as well. And I have 2 sniper bullets left effectively, since I only have 4 and none in reserve now. So we want to be over here when the elites are, when everybody's dead, so the hunters come in, and we'll be able to take this guy out. I'm going to show you how to take a hunter out without any sniper bullets if you happen to have no ammo by the time this happens. So you could actually wrap up around behind him, get him to kind of lunge at you, and then wrap up around behind him, and as he's turning to face you, you just turn in the opposite direction, and you could actually turn slightly faster than he can, so you'll be able to actually just keep this up and just keep smacking him in the back until he falls over. You can see all that hunter blood on the ground. He's not feeling so good, and he's going to fall over in a hot second here. But this is a very effective way of taking out the hunters. You keep your shield up with your melees from the Black Eye Skull, and also you just conserve ammo. So you could just do this if you want to conserve ammo. The problem with it is if there's 2 hunters, the second hunter that you're not smacking will probably just come up and smack you, or fuel rod charge you. You could also avoid killing those hunters entirely by going down here and getting this dialogue, and probably a checkpoint as well. This will actually unlock all of the doors that you need to have unlocked to proceed through the next part of the mission. So if you wanted to do that, you could do that as well. The issue with that is the hunters sometimes follow you down there, and it's tough to kind of avoid their fuel rod charges. So keep that in mind. But there's a health pack over here. We're going to grab that. We don't even need it. And there's a camo that we've been saving. So grab that camo, and we're going to move to the next section. So we're going to move through these hallways. There's going to be some grunts. There's going to be an elite. Just avoid those guys entirely. Don't even try to melee them or anything, or backsmack them. We're going to go to the next section up ahead here, and we're going to drop down. There's going to be a wraith at the bottom, so we're going to use that to cushion our landing so we don't take any fall damage. So just kind of drop off here and land on the wraith, and then we're going to walk over, and you can see these sleeping grunts are always in random places. Fortunately, this time they were actually sleeping by a door, so that doorway is open. So you could actually just move through that section and to the next part of the mission. But I'm going to show you what to do in case that is not the case for you. We went and grabbed a bunch of ammo from those dead Marines over there, and we're going to backsmack the 2 jackals and the elite in this section. And then what you want to do is start killing the grunts that are sleeping. So I like to throw a frag grenade that unfortunately wasn't a great one. They were kind of far apart, so it didn't kill any of them. But we're going to kill these grunts as quickly as we can, and we want to hang out by these doorways on the right side over here, because they are actually the ones that are going to be opening up once reinforcements come through. There could be reinforcements from the other side of the room, but we're waiting for these doors to open up, or one set of these doors, because you can see it's opening up right now. This is where we need to go to get to the next part of the mission. So we want to hang out on this side of the room, wait for reinforcements to come through one of these doors. It's random which ones they come through, but you can see I'm low on shield now. You want to smack them as you go, and then once you round this corner, there's going to be jackals, but you want to immediately just run at them. It could be counterintuitive, obviously. It's scary. You might be low on shield and health, but just run straight at the jackals, and you'll be able to close the gap and smack them before they really shoot at you too much, and then you'll be able to get your shield back, and we'll be able to fight these guys. You want to make sure that when you're smacking these jackals, most of the time they kind of hang out here and you just smack them to death, but this time they kind of retreated back towards their friends over there, which is a little strange. So we're just going to close the gap on these guys now that the elites, or the elite singular, and the grunts down there are no longer shooting at us. And we're just going to move down here and really do what we've been doing, just kind of shoot the grunts and hope they take out most of the enemies nearby. But we got one pesky elite survivor over here, so we're just going to round the corner slowly and snipe them with our sniper, and then we're going to move forward, and we're going to get to a checkpoint, and you want to get this door to open, but then you want to back up and stay on the left side of this hallway. That way the dropship that's taking off will not see you and alert all the enemies nearby to your presence. And then once the dropship leaves, you want to look up towards the center of the room. There's a structure up ahead, and there's going to be an elite patrolling, and sometimes he's on the left, sometimes it's the right. Here he is on the right this time, and when you shoot him, he has a scripted moment where when he's on patrol and you shoot him, he'll kind of turn in your direction, and then that gives you a good amount of time to land a headshot for the kill after that first shot lands. And he did not even... I missed that second headshot, first of all. and he was just not even alerted after that. That's very rare. Normally he would start going into hiding after that, but then we turn our attention down to these guys. It was a grunt and an elite this time. It's always random who's there. Sometimes it's a jackal and a grunt. Sometimes it's 2 grunts and a jackal. But whatever it is, just take it out. We're going to move over here, grab the overshield and a bunch of ammo. So we have full ammo, nades, and shield at this point. And you might not have full health, but don't worry about that. We're going to jump onto these crates and do a double frag jump. So you can see this kind of arch in the geometry, kind of the pattern right there. And you can see this thin light purple line going up and down. So starting from that thin line, we're going to trace the smaller inner arch from the top down to the bottom here. And where it meets the thin line at the bottom, that's where we want to throw our second grenade. So remember that point on the wall right there. And we're going to turn down to the left over here now. And we're going to kind of scooch up a little bit because we want to clear the ledge above us. We're going to jump onto the ledge above us. We want to make sure we don't hit our head, of course. And you can see the point of the crate. We're just kind of looking straight ahead up from that crate. We're going to throw the frag down there and then look towards that second point that we identified earlier and throw the frag, and we'll be able to jump and time it right, and you can get up to that top ledge there. But I'll play it again here in slow motion. I throw the first frag, and then I turn to the right and throw the second frag, and then I will be able to jump as they go off, and that propels me upwards, and then I could hold to the left as I come down and land on the ledge right there. And we'll be able to move forward and continue up the ramps and all the hallways to the next section with no enemies. And I'm going to speed this part up because we're really just running through all the hallways and everything. So feel free to play that back. You could even slow it down even more on YouTube. There is a feature for that, so that is very handy if you really want to analyze the exact angles and points and everything. But it's a fairly forgiving jump. It doesn't have to be exact every time. But now we've arrived at the bridge, and we're going to not go in that first door. We're going to wrap around to the third door over here. There's multiple approaches you could take to this battle. So we're going to go over here and take out this first elite, which is actually the most distant elite normally if you go in the first door. So take him out. You'll notice that they're on patrol, and like I mentioned earlier, even if they're facing directly at you, they take a little bit of time to kind of realize what's happening if they are on patrol. So that's what happened there. I kind of shot him initially, and then he just kind of stood there and, took that second bullet to the head. So you can kind of shoot him in the upper chest for your first shot if you'd like, and then just kind of glance up towards the head for that second headshot if you'd like. Now I'm trying to do the same thing for this next elite. There's another gold elite in here with a sword, but there's another patrolling elite here, so you'll see me shoot in the chest, and then he gets stunned, and I can finish him off with a headshot. And I guess I missed that one. I thought it looked pretty good, but there we go. Third one's the charm. And now they're all aware of my location, so I'm just going to take this opportunity to kind of do what I did in the lift room, which is kind of attack from all angles. You don't want to just stay at one door. We have 3 doors for this room that we could attack from, so that's what we're going to do here. So just kind of poke your head in one door, take out an enemy or 2, and then kind of retreat and go to another door to get another angle. You can see all the enemies were looking towards the left where I was last, so you could kind of, do that, get them to look in that direction, then come from the side and easily get a headshot. Things like that make it a lot easier, and they're less likely to be able to attack you on top of you being able to more efficiently attack them. So once we kill enough enemies in this room, a jackal will come in. This room initially has those 2 patrolling elites with the additional gold elite up on top of the bridge with a bunch of sleeping grunts. And then once enough time and enemies are killed, you'll be able to kill this jackal who comes in. And then after that, there'll be a nav point that pops up on that door, and there'll be 4 grunts that come through that door. But you can actually see, you'll notice that you can see them moving under the door. There's a little bit of space. You don't have to necessarily try that. I just did it because I wanted to speed this thing up. This is actually the second time I recorded this, and the first recording was botched, so I was a little antsy. So I just shot him through the door there. You could just wait for him to get close enough to the door to open it up, which is probably safer. And then you'll be able to, deal with them once you could actually see their heads. But you can see I moved towards the ammo over there. There's a health pack I did not pick up yet because I'm going to save that. There's additional ammo over there. Remember to not pick up more ammo than you need. Or more ammo than you could efficiently use, because if you have 22 bullets in reserve for your sniper and you touch another sniper cartridge, that's a huge waste. So remember to only grab and touch what you need. So we're going to take these guys out, just kind of round the corner and headshot the grunts. Hopefully they take out more than just themselves when they explode. And there's also some jackals up ahead here too, so I'm going to try to smack these guys for some shield. Which is why I'm kind of right at the corner here. So right when they round the corner, I could smack them. I missed that first smack, but it worked out. Don't worry. So this is a little risky, a little aggressive, I would say. You could always just, land headshots and then back up. This guy's throwing a grenade at me now, so I'm going to back up. And you could, like I mentioned, grab that health pack back where we avoided it. But I decided I wanted to take these guys out first before doing that. So we're going to double back in a second to grab that health pack and more ammo before we proceed. We're just going to take this guy out. That's that animation that Jackal just did. That's an animation they do often. And it's very easy to snipe them when they do that. They kind of wave their friends over. They're like, hey, look at this guy. Come over here. And they kind of point at you a little bit. Their head always bobs and moves in the same way. So if you kind of study that motion, you'll easily be able to kind of put your targeting reticle where their head's going to end up and easily just pull the trigger once it does and finish them with the headshot. So we killed all those guys. We doubled back. I sped it up because we're just going back and forth at this point. And we have full ammo and everything now. And these two Jackals, you could easily just close the gap and take them out with melees. And you'll get your shield back every time you smack them, obviously. So just as long as you're smacking them consistently, you'll be able to kill those guys pretty quickly and easily and have full shield when you come out on top there. And then we're just going to continue through the hallways here. It's a little bit maze-like. That doorway I just zoomed in on is a doorway we're going to save for later. It's not essential, but it has some goodies in there. We're going to assassinate this Jackal and then just close the gap, run as fast as you can towards the second Jackal, and we'll melee him to death as well, keeping our shields up along the way. And then we'll turn our attention to this room, which has a gold elite, 2 invisible elites, and also a bunch of sleeping grunts. So we're going to look for the shimmer at first and try to snipe and kill those invisible elites. So we killed a grunt, and you want to keep an eye out on your score on the right. That's a good reason for having the score up. As you can see, I got plus 700 something and plus 900 something. So you could see when you kill enemies, but you could also see what type of enemy it is based on the score amount. So since it was much higher than the 158 or whatever, I knew it was those 2 invisible elites I killed. And we're just going to snipe these guys slowly and surely. Just take your time. This guy is the only real threat when you're in the hallway, is the sword guy charging you. But he was weak enough where I could take him out with those 2 sniper bullets there. And we're going to move up here, activate the controls to deactivate the energy barriers here for the prison cells. And we're going to go to this prison cell and grab as much ammo as we can / need. You can see I avoided touching the health pack there. But we're going to wait a few seconds as we spawn in after that cutscene and throw a frag grenade at the door. So when it opens up, the elites are met with a nice fragmentation surprise. And then you want to follow up that frag with some sniper rifle rounds. And then you could switch to your assault rifle to take out the remaining guy if he even remains. Then we're going to go in here and immediately turn to the left. There's always a Jackal kind of moving towards your position. And then turn to the other direction. There's going to be another Jackal on the opposite side of the hallway there. So we could melee those guys. And then you want to turn down the way we came. That's where we're going to go now. And there's going to be those grunts with an elite. So take out the grunts, and you'll be able to have the chain reaction, take everybody out, hopefully. Sometimes there's some surviving members down there, like you can see just happened there. So make sure you don't just charge that position, not thinking there could be enemies there. Sometimes there are, sometimes there's not. That time there was, and we just shot them and killed them quickly. So I'm just going to double back, grab all the stuff we need here. We're pretty much done with this mission, and I have full ammo for the most part, and health and all that good stuff. So we're going to move through here, and remember that white doorway right there. We're going to go there later. So this guy is either to the left or the right. It's always tough to kind of predict where he's going to be. So I like to just approach and kind of just slowly approach with the sniper and take him out. And then towards the left, we want to poke our head out and quickly take out these grunts because we want to have them blow up and explode. And then we want to run back here because basically Keys and his minions go wherever you go. So they're going to follow me back here. So if we just kind of stood there and watched the fireworks, there's a good chance that Keys would die in a chain reaction, and that's not what we're looking for. But we're going to move forward ahead here, and we have a couple frags, so we're going to use those against these remaining enemies here. There's going to be 2 grunts and 2 jackals, so I'm going to throw the frags kind of in between me and the grunts because I want any explosions to propel the grunts further away from us. I don't want to throw a frag behind the grunts and have the grunts, get blown towards me and then blow up in my face. And then for the jackals, if they still remain, if they didn't die in the explosions, you could always run up and smack these guys to death. We know we could do that. And if you didn't have any frags left at all, you could always just headshot those grunts with a sniper, obviously, and then, watch the explosion occur. So we ran back and we finally went to that room we haven't been to yet. This is one of the other prison cells that just has nothing in it except for some goodies. So we open up the cells, and we're going to grab the health and ammo in here, and frags. No sniper ammo, unfortunately, but we don't really need it anymore. So we're going to go back here behind the control panel over there, and there's actually some camo hiding out over there. So grab that camo, and we're going to use this to take out the 3 remaining enemies in this mission, which are 3 camo elites themselves. So camo v camo happening here. And we're just going to run. Once you grab the camo, you want to make a straight run towards the bridge, which is the final section, because you want to make sure you optimize the amount of camo you have when you get there, because it can run out very quickly. Even running straight there, you don't have too much once you do get in there. So we're going to run here. You get a checkpoint there, which is nice. And we're going to cut in here to the right. And these elites could be in various different places. This is not my optimal setup here, but we're going to assassinate this guy. And since those 2 elites are so close together, I'm just going to throw a frag, then start sniping them, and then throw another frag, and then switch to my assault rifle while my sniper reloads. And the way you could get your sniper to reload when you're shooting your assault rifle is to hit reload twice before switching your weapon, and that goes for any weapon. Another setup that is common is an enemy to be right there where I meleeed, and then that will get another of the 2 elites to kind of round the corner, and you could kind of smack them right there where I just meleeed, and then you could finish off the 3rd elite with your sniper, because by that point your camo will probably be gone. But I just skipped ahead. Keys got a little lost, and I had to go find them in the hallways here, and if that does happen, the dialogue will just occur in the hallways instead of the bridge there. And then since we did the hangar skip, it will just skip the final segments, the final battles, and you'll get the cutscene, and that is the end of the mission. So that is all for Truth and Wreck CE LASO, the toughest of CE LASO missions. So that is all for this one. Join me next time when we tackle the Silent Cartographer, which is a lot easier than this one. So I'll see you then, guys. Thanks for watching, guys. If you found that video helpful, be sure to click on the scorpion icon to subscribe and hit that bell for notifications. You can also check out some related guides by clicking on the videos on screen, and you can find links in the description for other social media links of mine. Stay tuned for more Halo guides, and I'll see you in the next one.